The morning started like any other morning in Sarah's house. Sunlight came through the kitchen windows. Birds sang outside. Sarah made breakfast while her twin babies, Emma and Ethan, played in the living room. Everything felt normal. Everything felt safe. But then the house went quiet. Too quiet. Sarah stopped stirring the eggs. She listened. Usually, she could hear the twins laughing or babbling to each other. They were only 2 years old, but they always made noise. Always. The silence made her stomach feel funny. "Emma? Ethan?" she called out. No answer. Sarah turned off the stove and walked into the hallway. Her heart beat a little faster. Every parent knows that feeling when your children go quiet. It usually means they're doing something they shouldn't be doing. She walked past the bathroom, past the closet. Then she saw them. Emma and Ethan sat on the floor in front of the guest room door. They weren't playing. They weren't moving. They just sat there, pressed against the door with their little backs. Their tiny hands pushed flat against the wood. "Babies, what are you doing?" Sarah asked. She tried to sound cheerful, but something felt wrong. The twins didn't look at her. They kept staring straight ahead. Their eyes were wide and serious. Too serious for 2-year-olds. "Come on, it's breakfast time," Sarah said. She walked closer. Emma's head turned slowly. "No, Mommy," she whispered. Sarah's breath caught. Emma hardly ever said full words yet, and her voice sounded different. Scared. "No, what, sweetie?" Sarah knelt down beside them. Ethan's little hand reached out and grabbed his sister's hand. They held each other tight. "Stay," he said. Just one word, but it made Sarah's skin feel cold. "Why are you blocking the door?" Sarah asked. She looked at the guest room door. It was just a regular white door. Nothing special. They kept extra blankets in there, some old boxes, nothing interesting. Emma shook her head. Her blonde curls bounced. "Bad," she whispered. "Bad? What's bad?" Sarah's hand started to shake a little. Both twins pressed harder against the door. Ethan started humming. It was a song Sarah had never heard before. A sad, quiet song that made her feel like crying. "Where did you learn that song?" Sarah asked. The twins didn't answer. They kept humming together, the same tune, like they practiced it 100 times. Sarah stood up. Her legs felt weak. She reached for the door handle above the twins' heads. "No!" Both children screamed at the same time. They pushed back against the door, so hard their faces turned red. Sarah pulled her hand back fast. Her heart hammered in her chest. She'd never seen her babies act like this. Never. Okay, she said softly. "I won't open it." But she hadn't known what was wrong. She leaned closer to the door and listened. At first, nothing. Just silence. Then she heard it. A whisper. So soft she almost missed it. Like someone was standing right on the other side of the door, speaking words she couldn't understand. The voice didn't sound like anyone she knew. It didn't sound friendly. Sarah jumped back. "Who's in there?" she shouted. The whispering stopped. Emma started to cry. Not a normal cry. A frightened cry that broke Sarah's heart. "It's okay, baby, Mommy's here," Sarah said. She picked up Emma, then Ethan. They wrapped their arms around her neck and held on tight. So tight almost hurt. Sarah carried them to the living room, away from that door, away from those whispers. Her mind raced. Had someone broken into the house? Was someone hiding in the guest room? But that didn't make sense. The twins had been playing alone. If someone had broken in, they would have screamed. They would have run to her. Unless they couldn't. Unless something stopped them. Sarah put the twins down on the couch. "Stay here," she said firmly. "Don't move." She grabbed her phone and walked back to the hallway. The guest room door looked normal. Plain white paint. Silver handle. Nothing scary about it. But Sarah's hand shook as she dialed her husband's number. "Tom, something weird is happening." "What's wrong?" His voice crackled through the phone. He was at work, 20 minutes away. "The twins are acting strange. They were blocking the guest room door, and they won't let me open it. And Tom, I heard something. A voice. Whispering. Silence on the other end. Tom, did you open the door?" "No. The babies got upset when I tried." Don't open it, Tom said quickly. I'm coming home. What? Why? What's going on? But Tom had already hung up. Sarah stood in the hallway, staring at that door. Cold air seemed to seep out from underneath it. She could see her breath like it was winter, but it was a warm spring day. From the living room, she heard the twins start humming again, that same sad song, that same melody that made her heart ache. And then, from behind the guest room door, she heard it again, the whisper. But this time it was louder. This time, she could almost make out the words, and they sounded like they were calling her name. Sarah's blood turned to ice. She backed away from the door, her eyes locked on the handle. It wasn't turning. Nothing was moving, but she felt it. Something on the other side wanted out, and her babies knew it. They had been protecting her all along. Sarah couldn't take her eyes off the guest room door. 20 minutes felt like forever. She sat on the couch with Emma, and Ethan pressed against her sides. They had stopped humming, but they watched the hallway like cats watching a mouse hole. Mommy scared? Emma asked, touching Sarah's face with her tiny hand. No, baby, Sarah lied. Mommy's fine. But she wasn't fine. Her whole body shook. That whispering voice kept playing in her head over and over, the way it said her name, like it knew her, like it had been waiting for her. Ethan pointed toward the hallway. Dark, he said. Sarah looked. Her heart nearly stopped. A shadow stretched across the hallway floor. A long, dark shadow that didn't match anything in the house. It moved slowly like thick smoke, creeping toward them. That's not possible, Sarah whispered. The sun was shining through every window. There was nothing to make that shadow. The twins grabbed each other's hands again. Together, they stood up on the couch. Two small children, barely tall enough to reach the cushions, standing side by side like little soldiers. No, Emma said to the shadow. Her voice was stronger now. No, isendipitiv. The shadow stopped moving. It hung there in the hallway, dark and wrong. Sarah wanted to run. She wanted to grab her babies and rush out the front door. But something made her stay. Her children weren't running. They were facing it. A sound came from the guest room. Not whispering this time. Humming. That same sad lullaby the twins had been singing. But this version sounded broken. Wrong. Like someone was humming underwater. Turn on lights, Emma said, tugging Sarah's shirt. Sarah jumped up and flipped every light switch she could find. The living room lights, the hallway lights, the kitchen lights. But the shadow didn't go away. It got darker, thicker. A toy car on the floor started to roll. By itself, slowly at first, then faster. It rolled right into the shadow and stopped. Okay, that's it. We're leaving, Sarah said. She picked up both twins. But as she turned toward the front door, it slammed shut. Bang! Sarah screamed. The twins buried their faces in her shoulders. All the lights flickered. On, off, on, off. The humming got louder. It filled the whole house now. That broken lullaby that made Sarah's teeth hurt. Make it stop, Sarah begged. Tears ran down her face. Please, please make it stop. Emma lifted her head. She looked right at the shadow. You go away, she said. Her little voice was clear and brave. This is our house. You're not welcome. Ethan nodded. Not welcome. Together, the twins reached out their hands toward the shadow. They closed their eyes tight, and they started humming their own song. Not the broken lullaby. A different song. A happy song. A song about sunshine and flowers and love. Sarah felt warmth spread through her chest. It started where the twins pressed against her and grew outward, warm and bright and good. The shadow shrank back. The broken humming got quieter. The twins hummed louder. Their little voices filled the house, pushing back against the dark. And then Tom burst through the front door. Sarah, kids. He ran to them and wrapped his arms around all of them. Tom, what's happening? Sarah sobbed. What is that thing? Tom's face was pale. We need to talk. But first, let me see the door. He walked to the guest room, Sarah and the twins following close behind. The shadow was gone now. The cold air was gone. Everything looked normal again. Tom put his hand on the door handle. "No, Daddy," both twins shouted. Tom stopped. He looked at his children, then at Sarah. "When we moved in, the neighbor lady, Mrs. Chun, she tried to tell me something. I thought she was just a crazy old woman. But she said this house had a history. She said a family disappeared from here 20 years ago. Just vanished. Nobody ever found them." Sarah felt sick. "What does that have to do with us?" She said they'd been complaining about voices, about cold spots, about shadows that moved on their own. Tom's voice dropped to a whisper, about their little girl who kept saying someone was calling to her from the guest room. Sarah's knees went weak. "We have to leave. Right now. We have to get out of this house." "Mommy," Emma said softly. She pointed at the guest room door. "It can't get out. We keep it in." Sarah stared at her daughter. "What?" Ethan nodded seriously. "We strong together. It's scared of us." Tom and Sarah looked at each other. Their 2-year-old babies were telling them they were holding back whatever darkness lived behind that door. "How do you know this?" Sarah asked. Emma shrugged. "Just know. Feel it. Me and Ethan, we see things." "See things?" Tom asked. "Things Mommy and Daddy can't see," Ethan explained. "The bad thing. It wants Mommy. But we protect." Sarah's heart broke and swelled at the same time. Her babies, her tiny, precious babies, were protecting her from something she didn't even understand. That night, Sarah couldn't sleep. She lay in bed while Tom snored beside her. The house was quiet, but she kept listening for whispers, for humming, for any sign that thing was coming back. Around midnight, she got up and walked to the twins' room. They were both awake, sitting up in their cribs, holding hands through the bars. "Can't sleep?" Sarah whispered. They shook their heads. Sarah climbed into Emma's crib, squeezed in beside her. Tom came in and got into Ethan's crib. The 4 of them, cramped and uncomfortable, but together. "Tell me about what you see," Sarah said softly. Emma thought for a moment. "It's like smoke, but angry. It's stuck in that room because someone trapped it there long ago. It wants out. It wants to take someone, make them disappear like the other family." "But why me?" Sarah asked. "Because you're the mommy," Ethan said simply. "It takes the mommies first. Then the family falls apart. Then it can take everyone." Sarah's blood ran cold. "But we won't let it," Emma said firmly. "We're strong. All of us together." Tom squeezed Sarah's hand. "Tomorrow we're getting help. There has to be someone who knows about this stuff. Someone who can help us." Sarah nodded, but deep down, she wondered if anyone could help. Because tomorrow, when the sun set and darkness came again, would they be strong enough? The twins hummed softly, their peaceful song, their protection song. And in the hallway, on the other side of the house, the guest room door rattled once. Just once. Like something inside was testing its prison, waiting for another chance. The next day, Tom called everyone he could think of. He talked to priests. He talked to people who studied ghosts. He even called Mrs. Chun from next door. Mrs. Chun came over that afternoon. She was a tiny old woman with silver hair and sharp eyes. She walked right up to the guest room door and stared at it for a long time. "The children," she said finally. "They see it clearly, don't they?" Sarah nodded. "They've been protecting us." "How is that possible?" "They're only 2 years old." Mrs. Chin smiled sadly. "Children see the world differently than adults. They haven't learned to ignore the things that don't make sense. They haven't learned to pretend that darkness isn't real." She touched the door gently. "This presence has been here for a very long time. It feeds on fear, on loneliness, on families breaking apart. How do we stop it?" Tom asked. "You can't fight darkness with force," Mrs. Chin said. "You fight it with light, with love, with staying together." She looked at Emma and Ethan, who stood hand in hand behind their parents. "Your children already know this. They've been showing you all along." That night, storm clouds covered the sky. Thunder rumbled in the distance. The house felt different, heavier, like the air itself was pressing down on them. Sarah made dinner, but nobody was hungry. They all felt it. Something was coming. At 8 o'clock, the lights went out. All of them. Every light in the house died at once. Flashlights! Tom shouted. He ran to the kitchen drawer. But Sarah heard something that made her freeze. Laughing. A child's laughter. But wrong. Too high. Too cold. Coming from the guest room. "Tom," Sarah whispered. "It's starting." The twins ran to their parents. Emma grabbed Sarah's leg. Ethan grabbed Tom's hand. The guest room door began to shake. Harder and harder. The whole wall trembled. Pictures fell off and crashed to the floor. "It's trying to break out." Tom yelled. Cold air rushed through the house. Sarah could see her breath. The temperature dropped so fast that frost formed on the windows. In the middle of summer, the door flew open. A shadow poured out like black water. It spread across the floor, up the walls, across the ceiling. The broken lullaby filled the air, so loud it hurt Sarah's ears. And in the center of the shadow, a shape formed. A woman's shape, but her face was all wrong. Empty eyes, a mouth that stretched too wide, hands that reached out with fingers too long. "Mine," the shadow woman whispered. "You're all mine now." She moved toward Sarah. Emma and Ethan jumped in front of their mother. "And oh," they shouted together. Their voices were small, but they were strong. The shadow woman laughed. "Little children can't stop me. I've waited 20 years for a new family. You'll disappear just like the others." "We're not like the others," Emma said. She looked back at her parents. "Because we love each other." Ethan nodded. "Love is stronger than you." The shadow woman's laugh died. "Love? Love means nothing. Everyone is alone in the end." "That's not true," Sarah said. She stepped forward and put her hands on her children's shoulders. "We're together. We'll always be together." Tom moved beside Sarah. He put his arms around all of them. "We're a family. You can't break that." The shadow woman screamed. A horrible sound that made the windows crack. She rushed forward like a wave of darkness. But the family held tight to each other. Emma and Ethan started singing, not humming this time. Real words. A song about love that never ends. About family that stays together. About light that pushes away darkness. Sarah joined in. Then Tom. Their voices mixed together, growing louder and stronger. Light began to glow around them. Soft at first, like candlelight. Then brighter. Warmer. It spread from their hands where they touched each other. It grew and grew until it filled the whole room. The shadow woman shrieked. She tried to grab them, but the light burned her. She pulled back, her shape falling apart. "You can't do this," she screamed. "I am stronger. I've been here longer." "But you're alone," Emma said softly. "And we're together." The light exploded outward, bright as the sun, warm as a hug. It filled every corner of the house. Every shadow disappeared. Every cold spot vanished. The shadow woman's scream got quieter and quieter. Her shape broke into pieces. The pieces turned to smoke. The smoke faded into nothing. And then she was gone. The lights came back on. The house was warm again. The storm outside had stopped. Sarah, Tom, Emma, and Ethan stood in the hallway, holding each other, breathing hard. "Is it over?" Tom asked. Emma nodded. "She's gone. Forever." The light pushed her away to a place where she can't hurt anyone anymore. Sarah started crying. Happy tears this time. She hugged her children so tight. "You saved us. You saved all of us." "We all saved us," Ethan said wisely. "Together, like family." That night, they all slept in the living room. They pushed the couches together and made one big bed. Nobody wanted to be alone. Nobody needed to be alone. In the morning, Sarah opened the guest room door. The room was just a room now. No cold air, no whispers, no shadows. Just a normal room with boxes and blankets. Tom started moving their things out of the house that day. "We're finding a new place," he said. "Somewhere with no history. No darkness." But Mrs. Chun stopped by one more time before they left. "Your children have a gift," she told Sarah. "They can see things others can't, feel things others miss. That gift will stay with them as they grow up. Is that a good thing? Sarah asked. Mrs. Chun smiled. That depends on what they do with it. But they have something more important than the gift. They have each other. They have you. Love like that can defeat any darkness. 2 weeks later, the family moved into a new house. A bright house with big windows and a sunny backyard. No strange history. No guest rooms with doors that needed blocking. But sometimes, late at night, Sarah still heard the twins humming. That special song. That protection song. Not because there was danger, but because they wanted to remind themselves. Remind their parents. Remind the whole world. Love is light. Family is strength. And together, nothing can break them. Emma and Ethan grew up knowing something most people forget. The smallest hearts can hold the biggest courage. The youngest voices can sing the strongest songs. And innocence isn't weakness. It's the purest kind of power. Years later, when Emma and Ethan were older, they still held hands when they walked. They still hummed their song when someone they loved felt scared. They still knew, deep in their hearts, that together they could face anything, because they learned the truth that night. Darkness may be powerful, but light is stronger. Fear may be loud, but love is louder. And family? Family is everything. Did the story give you chills? Did it remind you that the ones we love are often our greatest protectors? Emma and Ethan knew something that adults often forget, that love creates an unbreakable shield, and that even the smallest among us can be the bravest. If this story touched your heart or made you think about the bonds that hold your family together, we'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment below sharing your thoughts. Have you ever witnessed a child sense something you couldn't? Have you felt that unexplainable protective instinct that goes beyond understanding? Hit that like button if the story moved you, and subscribe for more emotional, spine-tingling tales where family becomes the ultimate defense against the unknown. Share this story with someone who needs a reminder that love is the strongest force in the universe. Remember, the greatest guardians sometimes come in the smallest packages. Listen to them. Believe in them, because they might just see what we've forgotten how to see. What would you do if your children became your protectors? Tell us in the comments below.